to the Game Week 26 deadline live stream. Hope everybody is having a wonderful evening or wherever you are in the world. Hopefully you wrapped up work for the week. Let me know, guys. Obviously, if you are still working right now, don't let the boss see you having this stream on. But we are here, of course, to talk about this deadline, because if you didn't know already, hopefully you knew this, the deadline's this evening. And we're going to cover that off, obviously remind you when the deadline actually is. I know there are so many people who probably still think it is Saturday morning. So if I can just get one person who is watching this right now who didn't know the deadline was today, that is my job done. So let me know in the chat where you're tuning in from, guys. Let me know your questions. Let me know if you've made any transfers right now. A little bit of a preview. Made 2 transfers for my team. I spoke about it on my transfer plan video. I've spoken about it this week. I've done it. I've pulled the trigger. I can't be dealing with last minute moves. I'm just going to get it done, and I'll show you exactly what I have done on today's stream. So again, guys, let me know who's tuning in. I see some regular faces already. Anton, hope you're well. Gordon, Jonah, Barcola, as always, tuning in. Hope you're well, my friend. Clutch, Brawler, Italy, Boom, Immortal Technique, as always. So yeah, guys, get your questions in the chat. Obviously, the point of these streams is to help you guys out as much as possible. As I said, my team is locked in, and I have made an assistant manager move as well. So I'm quite excited to talk about that one as well, and go into a bit more detail on my selection. As always, if you're watching this, please do consider obviously dropping a like on the stream. It just gets out to more people who might be missing this deadline. And of course, if you haven't already, it'd be awesome if you could subscribe to the channel. We are like 30 away from 20k. We had that as an end of season goal. If we could get there before this deadline, that would be insane. But I appreciate 30 new subscribers is a big old ass. So of course, if you're not already, it'd be awesome if you can. So let's go through some of the questions first and foremost, and then we will get into my team, because hopefully that will answer a few questions as well that people may have. So Anton's asking, bench one of the front of Cunha, Mateta, Isak, Rodgers, Palmer and Kluivert. Well, I think for me that's pretty simple. Even though I think Chelsea are woeful, I think it's pretty clear you got to bench Rodgers of that bunch. I think all the others are just too good to be benching. So Rodgers for me would be the bench. And you're asking about one defender, Trent, Robinson or Hall to bench. For me, it would be Hall. I think Nottingham Forest are the better team that they are facing out of that lot. Just can't bring myself to bench someone like a Trent. Gordon's asking, good day, Nacho. Hope you're well, mate. Worth taking a -4 to replace Slot with Glasner, Arteta. Cheers, mate. No, Gordon. I think I'm quite clear on this one. I think a -4 is probably not enough, because does anybody really think Man City are going to beat Liverpool? And this is the reason why the chip is quite difficult, because you have to have your own sort of opinions on results. And lots of things can happen. All it takes is a red card for Liverpool, and Man City probably win that game quite comfortably. Whereas when you're selecting players, that player is the only thing that gets influenced usually. The whole chip is going to get influenced by those sort of things. A -4 to get rid of Slot, where I personally think they either draw or win. So straight away, Glasner really has to get that win to really justify the -4. I don't love a -4 from Slot to Arteta, because Arsenal were poor against Leicester. I still think they beat West Ham, but I don't like the -4. If you're going to do it, I think it has to be the Glasner to really chase that upside. And Joe's asking, hey Nacho, hope you're doing well. Very well, my friend. Start Trent or Hall, start Rodgers or Pedro. Well, it sounds like with a lot of the predictors on Twitter that Pedro isn't going to start for Brighton. So unfortunately on that one, I think your hand is forced. It would be Rodgers, and I do think Rodgers will cause problems for Chelsea. I can't sit here and tell you he'll score, but he will cause problems, that's for sure. And start Trent or Hall. Of course, Hall has the home game, but it's against Nottingham Forest, who are just a great team. I probably would stay with Trent. I know it's quite controversial up against a Man City team that do score goals, but I still would play Trent. So keep popping your stuff in the chat, guys. As always, I'll get to them. And again, if you can, subscribe to the channel. That's also always massively appreciated. I want to get into my team right now, just to give you a bit of an update, because some people might be wondering, might be not, on exactly what I'm doing. I mean, this season isn't the best season so far, but you know, on this channel, we stay very, very, very positive. And we're going to get into that top 50k. I can guarantee you it is going to happen. So here is the team right now. Let me know in the chat, maybe if it isn't zoomed in enough, because I can definitely do that. I am pretty terrible at technology, but I know how to at least zoom in on this. So I can do that for you, maybe improve this a little bit. So quickly covering off my team for anybody that might be not watching and maybe listening. So I kind of forget that happens as well. So We got Pickford at home against Man United, and I really fancy Everton. I think it's just a classic case of feel-good factor, old manager going back up against an old club, and a Man United team that just cannot score goals or play good football. So Pickford for me between the sticks, I'm more than happy with. Back three are Trent, Gabriel and Munoz away against Fulham. Now, there definitely is an argument right now to play Mykolenko, but double Everton, I love it, but I just can't bring myself to do so, especially someone like Munoz, who he could score in any game. And I just think I'll really kick myself if he was to deliver in that game and he was sat on my bench, where Mykolenko very much is a 2 or a 6-pointer. I like the upside of Munoz. Coming into the midfield, and I have made a transfer. I made it a couple of days ago, I believe. I sold Eze and brought in Mbeumo. Now, Eze's been past fit for anybody that is wondering. And Eze on form, I think, is a fantastic FPL option. But I'm not free hitting in game week 29, and that is really important. So Eze is a player that needs to be sold regardless. And coming into a Leicester away game, it just felt like the perfect opportunity with the money in the bank and the free transfers just to bring in Mbeumo. Now, I'm going to put it out there. Maybe I'm being a little bit negative. I think Leicester could get something against Brentford. I am not actually that confident about Brentford battering Leicester. I just don't know what it is in my gut this week. So I brought in Mbeumo, but I'm also a little bit apprehensive about him and whether Van Nistelrooy could get those points. Rest of the 4 picks itself, Salah, Palmer and double Bournemouth. And up front, I've got Vissa and Isak. So obviously I am really hoping for a Brentford performance in this game. In terms of the manager, I made a manager change. So previously I was talking about in-depth assistant manager and how I was going for Arteta 100%. However, started to think about the chip, and I've had Slot the last 2 weeks, and I hate Liverpool. But when you're offering me an opportunity of a double-double, my hatred for Liverpool goes out the window because it felt like the right move. Coming into this week where there is no clear manager to go to this week, really, personally, I don't think. I think it's just a case of who gives you the best upside and what position you're in. So I'm currently ranked 215k in the world. If I was currently ranked 10k, I'll be going for Arteta and just getting that guaranteed win that I think will happen. But at my rank right now, am I that fussed if I miss out on an Arteta 8-pointer? Not really. Would I be devastated if I missed out on a Glasner potential 20-pointer? The answer is going to be yes. Now, Palace have got all their players back. They're up against a good Fulham team, but could Glasner get a draw and then basically equal that of Arteta? I think it can. Now, we got some scenarios here that I've put up just to give you a bit of an understanding on what could happen with the assistant manager. So these are the 3 that really have been up for grabs. Van Nistelrooy at 0.5 million. I just can't bring myself to go to Leicester. Even though I think they could get something under the lights on a Friday night, I would just kick myself if I picked a Leicester manager and they did get battered 5-0. I'd only have myself to blame. So Glasner and Arteta really were the 2 to debate, and we'll talk about in a minute whether you should sell Slot in general. So when we take a look at the scenarios here, and we've done this last week and it did kind of work out, I think the best case scenario for Arsenal is 3-0. Now, let me know in the chat if you guys think Arsenal could pump them 5-0, but I think the best case scenario is a 3-0 win for Arsenal. That would give you 11 points. That would give you 6 for the win. That would give you 3 for, of course, the goals scored. And then you'll get the 2 points for the clean sheet. I think the worst possible scenario is Arsenal draw 1-1. They could lose, but we obviously have to put some sort of opinion on this. So I think the worst case that happens is Arteta gets 4 points. Now, when we take a look at Glasner, I think the worst case scenario, and it legitimately could happen, is 0 points. Because Fulham are a fantastic team. If Fulham beat them 2-0, would you actually be surprised? 100% not. So you basically have a floor of 0 points with Glasner. But when I look at the alternatives here, if Palace draw 1-1, which I do think could happen, that gives you the 9-pointer, which outscores Arsenal's draw and gets you close to what I would deem the best case scenario for Arsenal, which is a 3-0 win. Finally, if we were to get the best case scenario, and I don't think Palace do any better than a 2-0 win at best, you're getting 20 points. You're getting 6 for the win. You're getting 2 for the clean sheet. You're getting 2 for the goal. And you're getting 10 for that table bonus. Now, let's be honest. Do we actually think that's going to happen? Probably not. We're all chasing that fairy tale ending on the assistant manager chip. And probably because I've had Arne Slot and it hasn't massively paid off, I kind of want to have a bit of fun on the last week of it. But I think there is a possibility that the draw can happen. And if that is to happen, I think I'm content with then having the upside of what could happen with a Crystal Palace win. So That's my current thought process. I've highlighted the rest of the teams there, that table bonus. Can't go West Ham. Can't trust Wolves because they've been good, but Bournemouth have been better. Ipswich, Southampton, Leicester. I just cannot bring myself personally to put on a promoted team who have been so crap this season. But let me know in the chat, are you guys maybe a bit more bullish on ones that I haven't spoken about there? I want to put a quick poll in a minute just to see who is your favourite. Who is your manager pick? And again, if you haven't got your assistant manager active, at least still put it in the poll and maybe just say, if you did have it active, who you would go for. So we've got Arteta, we've got Glasner. I'm going to put RVN for Ruud van Nistelrooy because I cannot be bothered to spell that last name, I'm going to be honest with you. And I'm going to put other, and if I put other, oh no, I'll put slot, sorry. And slot basically is like you're going to leave it on slot because you think they're going to do well. Now, the last thing I want to touch on before we really go into this is, into your questions, is actually the other alternatives, because it isn't just as simple as get Glasner or get Arteta. We also then have to sell a manager. So if you take a look at my team right now, previously, with my points, you can see I had Arne Slot, and I had 2 free transfers available for game week 26. So if I had to take a points hit, I don't think I would be doing Slot to Arteta at all, because I think Slot could easily beat Man City. And then really, what is the upside of Arteta? We've spoken about potential 11 points. If you're going to sell Slot for a points hit, it has to be for a table bonus. That is, I'm very, very strong on that, because I think you really have to chase the upside. Because what world are we in right now where we honestly think Man City are going to beat Liverpool? We haven't seen anything from City to really suggest that right now. It's only the slight tail off in Liverpool that really has put any doubts on Arne Slot. But because I had a free transfer available, then I think the upside is there to be had. So yes, I think Slot owners, buy Arteta if you really are at a rank that you're at like 15k or something, you want to be protective. Otherwise, I think I would go Glasner and chase the upside, and I would not be selling Slot for a points hit. Hopefully that has covered off quite a few things. I will come on to the questions now and see if there's anything on that specifically before we go into the rest. So, what have I missed here? Should I sell Isak and Sarr for Mbeumo and Cunha? Literally, it depends on your strategy. So, Isak and Sarr, still fine, but blank in game week 29. So if you're not planning on free hitting in game week 29, then yes, I really do like those moves. But Isak could do well this week. So it depends on your strategy, really. But yes, I do like those moves. Clutch Brawler saying, should I do a -4 for Ahmad to Mbeumo and Slot to Iriola? Can't afford Arteta. So you go for Iriola for the Bournemouth game, which I think they probably do win against Wolves, so it's fine. Just no table bonus there. Ahmad is a player that you have to sell. So I'd firstly say to you, do you have any Bournemouth mids? Because if you don't have any Bournemouth mids, Ahmad to a Bournemouth mid, just get it done. Otherwise, yes, I do like the move, but I also would say to you, could you maybe go for someone like an Ethan Enquiries or whatever it's pronounced? That's also a consideration if you don't want to be taking a potential points hit. But I need to know how much you have in the bank. I see we've got a super chat here from Scott. Scott, very, very, very generous, my friend. I know you've been on all the streams, basically, and you always do this, so it is massively appreciated, mate. Hope you're doing well. So Scott has sells Trent, Højlund, and Gabriel as part of the back three. Perfectly fine. Trent, obviously not the best fixture, but we saw what he could do from an attacking perspective last week. Semenyo, Kluivert, Mbeumo. Semenyo, Kluivert, Mbeumo, Salah as a midfield 4 with Wood, Isak and Vissa up top. Okay. Benching Palmer. Slot assistant manager, 1 free transfer, any advice? Okay, so first and foremost, the front three is perfectly fine. You don't really have anybody there that I would like to sell to someone like a Cunha or someone like a Mateta. So I would just leave the forwards as it is. The midfield 4 is fantastic. I don't love the idea of benching Cole Palmer, but if you are, in the back of your mind, really, really bullish on Aston Villa beating Chelsea, then so be it. But you obviously know you're taking a huge risk by benching Cole Palmer because the ownership is going to be high regardless. I mean, when we look at Cole Palmer, 61% owned, I think most people are going to start him as well. So you are, of course, taking that risk if you were to be benching someone like Cole Palmer right now. In terms of a transfer, well, of course, I don't think you need to make a defensive transfer. I think your team looks great. And the fact you got Robinson on the bench really shows the depth that you do have. So I think it comes down to your preference on the teams. It's either, for me, slot out to a Glasner if you want to chase the upside, or Arteta, or you roll. I don't think there is enough in your starting 11 to suggest that you need to make a transfer on those players. So, and I'm going to say this, in the assistant manager chip, I think it's the hardest to have an opinion because everybody is a biased football fan and everybody has their opinions. Whereas when it's a footballer, like a player, we can look at the underlying numbers, we can look at the last few weeks and come to an actual conclusion on whether a player is good or not in terms of value. The team will always going to have biases. For me, I hate Arsenal. So the fact of me rooting for an Arsenal win just doesn't really sit well with me either. I know that's a bit childish, but also got to take that into consideration. So let me know, Scott, in the chat what your thoughts are. I think you either roll or you go for the upside chase of a slot to a Glasner as an example. Let me take Cole Palmer off the screen a minute. And again, guys, if you're just new to this, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on the stream. And I put it out there at the start, we are on the road for 20k. We might hit it on this stream, so it'd be awesome if we can. I think we're like 30, 40 off. So if you're watching this, you're enjoying it, you're not a subscriber, just know it would be awesome and it would help out massively. I see we got a super chat here from Andor. Hasn't put anything. Oh, okay, put it underneath. Thank you so much for super chat, by the way, Andor. Massively appreciated. So he or she has asked, I believe it's he, has asked Thomas Frank as a manager this week. I haven't used my chip yet. Okay, so first, Andor, if you haven't used your chip yet, don't even consider activating it this week. This is one of the worst weeks to activate the chip. And Thomas Frank is the manager this week. I just don't see the upside. Now, look, we're looking at the managers here available to us. Yes, they could win. Yes, they could get goals, but I just don't really see the point of going for Thomas Frank in this fixture. I'd much rather go for an upside chase in a in a table bonus game. So if you have your chip available and you haven't activated it, please do not activate it. It is not the time to do so at all. There's going to be plenty more opportunities later on in the season. So guys, I'm going to wrap up that poll there. 53% are saying for Glasner, 22% saying Arteta, 23% saying Slot, 2% are saying Van Nistelrooy. So yeah, very interesting now on that one. I'll take the poll off the chat for a bit now. So JP saying, what's your opinion on Brentford's drop in form and also Vissa and Mbeumo? Should I buy a Brentford player or Bournemouth/Cunha? Yeah, so I think if you have a Brentford player already, then I think you are well covered regardless. And I think Cunha would be a preference over someone like an Mbeumo or a Vissa. For my team personally, of course, I went for Brian Mbeumo, and I could have actually stretched it and done and died to a Cunha as an example, but I just felt like Mbeumo for this week looks fantastic, and it's a player that in game week 29, I think it could be quite important from an ownership perspective. So I got it done, and it depends who you're selling. So for me, Eze had no idea whether he's going to be fully fit, and I just don't know if I trust the player right now. Whereas Ndai is injured, not ideal. But if he is fit for game week 29, he actually serves a purpose for my team. So hence why I brought in Mbeumo as opposed to selling Ndai for Cunha, just because Ndai could be valuable later on in the season in game week 29. I just don't see Eze being that between now and game week 29. Cue the goal for Eze, hence why I kind of went for Glasner to cover myself off a little bit. Italy Boom saying, or Ite Boom saying, bench one, Cunha, Mateta, Mitoma, Palmer, Cliver, Mbeumo, and Isak. Oh my God. Literally, I could not bench any of those. Like, when we look at the fixtures right now, I mean, if you own Mitoma, you have to start him against Southampton. You have to start Cliver. You have to start Mbeumo. You have to start Isak at home, I feel. I literally think the answer probably is Palmer, but it's ridiculous saying that on the stream right now. If it's not Palmer, then I think it probably is Cunha, and you just hope that he doesn't deliver it in a tricky away game against Bournemouth. -4 for Gakpo replacement or -4 for Emery to Van Nistelrooy or stay put. I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? Because I don't think the -4 from Emery to Van Nistelrooy is just worth it, in my opinion. I think a -4 for Gakpo with an understanding that you're bringing in a player long-term probably does pay dividends. So for me, it would be something like Gakpo to Cunha if you're not free hitting in game week 29, or Gakpo to Mateta if you are free hitting in game week 29. That would be my kind of route I would be looking to go for on that one there. And again, guys, I just want to show you, obviously, my team, just for those that are interested. As I said, I have sold Eze to Mbeumo, and I ended up selling Slot to Glasner. Those were the two moves, and I am locked in on that now. I do think Slot is still a fantastic hold, especially if you're looking to do a -4. I would not be doing that at all. But if you have a free transfer, then I would be very tempted to do so. Start Palmer or Rodgers, very clear for me. The penalty taker gets the nod over someone like Rodgers, so I would be going for Cole Palmer, definitely. Varth is saying, think I'm going Glasner since I have no Palace players. Yep, as you can see, I'm doubled down on Palace with Munoz and Glasner, so I really am hoping that does come in. Would I be surprised if Fulham were to win that game comfortably? Equally not. It really does feel like one of those games where it could go one or the other, and there is going to be no middle ground, I don't feel. So I am content with taking a punt on Glasner this week. And I also think, as I said, Slot is perfectly fine to hold as well. Liverpool been great this season. Captain Mbeumo, I just can't go there myself. I can't justify it. Now, I wanted to bring up some graphics here taken from Rob TFPL. Make sure you do check him out. Fantastic account on Twitter, Blue Sky, and all the good stuff. But just a little bit more data-driven information as opposed to my own opinions, because it's important to have both. It's important to have your own opinion, and it's important to look at the market as well. So these numbers here are taken from SpreadX, basically Bookies Market, where the projections are going, where the money's going, etc. So they've kind of condensed it to FPL terms, and they have got Mikel Arteta right now at the top, 8.6 projected points. So that basically is Arsenal winning, getting the 6 points, and winning 2-1 or getting a clean sheet, basically. So that looks fine, and I agree. I think Arsenal probably win 2-0. Which gives you 10 points. Fantastic. That is a good day at the office. And you can see a win percentage of 79%, draw percent of 14%. So literally, you can't really lose with Arteta. But also the upside, as we discussed, as I've put here, I think the best case scenario for Arsenal is they win 3-0, 11 points. That's great. That is great. And part of me thinks maybe that is a sensible move. But we also got to chase that upside. Van Nistelrooy at 7.7 projected points, 26% chance of a win, 25% chance of a draw. And then we got Glasner at 7.7 as well, 25% chance of a win, 27% chance of a draw. And again, all it takes is the draw for Glasner, and he probably does equal Arteta. So you kind of got two bites of the cherry here. You got the draw for Glasner, or you got the ultimate win, which of course is going to be them beating Fulham. That is the 20-pointer that we're all hoping for. And the more I talk about it, the more I'm really happy I went for Glasner, actually, because it's quite exciting now. When I was going for Slot, it kind of was just a bit like, just got to hope that they win. And I think Arsenal do beat West Ham, but I now got that excitement where I'm kind of invested in Crystal Palace. I'm going to be a Palace fan for this weekend, basically. Especially having Munoz as well. So hopefully this is valuable. And obviously, guys, make sure you check out Rob TFPL. I can't take any credit for this graphic. I've just basically slotted it on a screen. So don't be crediting myself. This is all Rob TFPL. Also wanted to quickly show you the projected goals and clean sheet odds. Again, same information taken from Rob T's account here. Hopefully he doesn't mind me taking this, but it's all exposure for him, so it's happy days. So in terms of the numbers right now, again, the ones that are blue is good. The ones that are orange is good. So straight away your eyes are drawn towards Arsenal here. 2.4 projected goals, 52% chance of a clean sheet. Again, it looks great for Arteta. It looks great for Arsenal defenders. It looks good if you've got a Trossard or an Nwaneri. All great. Fantastic investments. Don't mind it at all. Outside of Arsenal, because we know Arsenal are good, 2.2 projected goals for Brighton. Great. Who do you go for? Not João Pedro, because it doesn't sound like he will start. But I do think the likes of Mitoma are good investments. Bournemouth, 2.15, fantastic. If you got the double Bournemouth, that looks great for this week. But I do think Wolves are a bit better than the markets are giving them credit for. Spurs, Ipswich, nobody really has any investment there, but you can go for a differential. And we got Liverpool at 1.9 projected goals as well. So when we're talking about captaincy this week, If you want to go for the upside chasing, it's Arsenal. I don't really know who you own, but if you have got an Enquiries, or you don't go there. If you want to go Trossard, you could. I just don't feel that confidence. So when I look at these numbers, Brentford at 1.85, it's good. It's not what I want to see. Liverpool still have a higher projected goals, and you know if they do the business, Mo Salah is going to be the one involved, whether it be the creativity or it be the goal scorer. So boring. I think Mo Salah still is the captain of choice. I don't see enough of a reason or enough of a temptation to go for any other player. If you want to go for Bournemouth, you can, but your best guess on who's going to get those returns, because we've seen them spread across the team. Semenyo getting some points, Cliver getting points, Utara getting points. It's not clear cut where those returns are going to come. So for that reason, I think I'll just go for the man who is just a joke, and it's going to be Mo Salah. I mean, just look at this. By the way, he's on 271 points. His best ever season, for context, is 303, 8 years ago. He's going to absolutely destroy that record. He's already outscored every other season, and it's only game week 25, coming into game week 26. So when we look at his away returns here, 12 here, 13, 16. Yes, he blanked against Brentford away, is what it is, I guess. Blanked against Forest. 16, 21, 18, 13, 10, 3, 10, 17, 14. I mean, it's just ridiculous, isn't it, from Mo Salah? And I don't see anything from Man City to suggest that they're going to put up a resolute defensive performance. So I think it's pretty clear. Mo Salah keeps the captaincy. Nobody screams out enough value to go there as an alternative captaincy. Right, let's fly through some of these questions. I do appreciate I haven't covered some of these off. So Bryce Gibson saying bench Palmer or Bruno. For me, it's got to be Bruno. I rate Everton. I don't rate Man United. Both on penalties. Bruno playing in a double pivot. Palmer playing as a 10 or a forward. It's Cole Palmer. Trent and Rodgers for Mbeumo and a defender from -4. No, I do not like that from -4. I think both could do absolutely fine this week, and Chelsea are on the ropes right now. Szoboszlai or Rodgers for the bench? Probably would be Szoboszlai, and I would play Rodgers. Jamilo saying, one free transfer, Rodgers to Matoma, slot to Arteta, -4. I would only do one of those. I wouldn't do both for a -4. I don't think slot to Arteta justifies a -4. I would just keep Arnie Slot. Emery to Glasner for a -4. Mohammed saying, Emery to Glasner for a -4. Don't love it. I probably would just keep Emery myself. I think Emery gets a result against Chelsea. Emery to Glasner for a free transfer, then yes, I do like the upside chasing there. But again, guys, we got to remember, we're doing this because we want to chase the upside. Fulham could easily beat Palace 2-0 and you get a 0-pointer. Those that have gone there, like myself, have kind of accepted that and are happy to chase the potential glory. And I'm happy to do that myself. Just making sure there's no news online, guys, because I'm conscious that I might miss some Twitter information that might be quite key. So I'm just seeing if there's anything, and I can't see much. So no real updates there. And I do apologise. Keep putting the stuff in the chat, guys. I'm missing a question here from one of the patrons. Let me just quickly cover that off. I have gone for Glasner. Sorry, guys. I just realised I haven't posted my team up on Patreon. Give me 2 seconds. Let me just see if I have or not. My memory is shocking, and I can't remember what I've actually done myself. No, I haven't. Give me 2 secs. I am terrible. Let me just post this. Oh, God. I forgot to post my team. Here we go. Here we go. Sorry, guys. This is terrible viewing. Give me 2 seconds. Add game week 26 team selection. Eze to Bramo. Slot to Glasner. Cool. Put that up. Would you keep Diaz? No, I don't think I'll keep Diaz. I think he's very, very difficult to predict his minutes. Again, I'll be asking yourself, what's your strategy? Are you free hitting in game week 29? If you're not, have you got your Bournemouth? Have you got your Brentford? Then you can start to be a bit more creative with your selections after that. Bench Wood away to Newcastle, Enquiries at home to West Ham, or Cunha away at Bournemouth. Yes, I would bench Wood 100%. I know he's the one that could punish, but Wood for me would be the one to go for. I think if you have Enquiries at home against West Ham, you got to play it. You got to play it. John's put a super chat. John, thank you so much. Massively appreciate it, my friend. 15k overall rank, which is fantastic, by the way. Probably not the guy you should be asking me to help you out here. You are smashing it. Done slot to Glasner, Rodgers to Dango for a -4. Okay, so you've done slot to Glasner. Don't mind it at all. Would I do Rodgers to Dango for a -4? Okay, so do I think it pays off this week? Possibly. I think Villa beat Chelsea, by the way. I'm a Chelsea fan. We're crap. And that run-in from Rodgers is going to hurt us in central areas because we don't have that physicality outside of Caicedo. So Rodgers is going to cause problems for Chelsea. Will that result in goals for Rodgers? I don't know. But he will cause so many problems for Chelsea. So the way I look at it is this. Do I think it pays off this game week? Probably not. I don't think it does pay off. So I think Wolves are actually better than the markets are giving them credit for. However, if you're not looking to free hit in game week 29, the way that I would look at it is Dango's not just for this week. You're going to get him for this game. By the way, Spurs have got Europa League, first leg before, second leg after this Bournemouth game. So Spurs away is not a game to be feared at. They're going to probably play a second string team. And Bournemouth are going to be great in that game, I think. And then you get the game week 29 game. So for me, yes, I like the move if you view it as a 5-game week move. And then you consider the -4 after that. Don't look at the outcome for just this game week on isolation, because I do think Rodgers could outscore Ouattara in one single game week. Start Cunha or Enquiries, Jack. That is a situation that I do not like the look of, because I think both can deliver. But ultimately, it's going to be Cunha. It's still going to be Cunha to start. And guys, while you're putting your stuff in the chat, I'm just going to quickly put a poll up just to see who is your game week 26 captain. So for me, it's very clear. It's Mo Salah. But don't let me influence your decision. Let me know. We've got Salah. We've got Mbeumo. We've got... We're going to put Bournemouth mid because it's one of those, isn't it, where everybody's got an opinion on who's the best one. I'm going to put other. And if you could just comment and let me know if you've gone for someone else different. Just put captain dash the player you've gone for. Be interesting to see. And again, if you're new to the stream, guys, as I said, we are on a very, very audacious attempt to get 20,000 subscribers. Not new subscribers, just putting it out there. We need about 30 new subscribers to hit 20k on this stream. If you're watching this, you're not a subscriber, you want to be the hero of the evening. It'd be awesome if you can. But again, I'm not begging. Maybe I am. But it'd be lovely to hit it on this stream, guys. Otherwise, we got to try and hit it in game week 27. So, is Gakpo playing? I don't think we had a recent update, but it doesn't sound positive on the last information that we had from Slot. Would you start Robinson over Van Heck? Probably not. Probably not. And it feels wrong me saying yes after I've gone for Glasner as my manager. So I'll probably back Van Heck, to be honest with you. But Robinson has more avenues to points with his attacking potential. I do agree. Bench Palmer over Watkins. Ooh, I think Villa beat Chelsea. So I probably would play Watkins, yes. But I don't love it. But I would play Watkins over Palmer. Play Raul or Wood. Eek. Really tricky. Both in good form right now. I probably would play Chris Wood. Probably play Chris Wood because I think Palace are good defensively. Is Gakpo playing? I've covered that off. John saying start 3 of Trent, Hall, Kirkes, Mikalenko and Munoz. Okay, so I think you have Kirkes. I think you've got to go there and play it. I think if you own Trent, I'm just of that opinion that if you're paying that much money, you've got to play him. And then I probably would go Mikalenko, to be honest with you, because I think the Everton defensive coverage is going to be pretty big this week. So that's probably what the 3 I would go for. I would bench Hall and I would bench Munoz, controversially, just because I've obviously bench Mykolenko, but I have Pickford between the sticks. Just checking here what is going on. Sorry, guys. Cool. Sorry, I was just updating some people there. Sorry, guys. Right then, let's get back to it. Alisson or Flecken to buy? Flecken, because Alisson blanks in game week 29. To start this week, has to be Flecken. Has to be Flecken. Rodgers or Enquiries every day of the week to start this week. Captain Palmer is time. I do not like that at all. It's crazy, isn't it, how the narrative of Cole Palmer has changed so much over the last few weeks. Now it feels like everybody wants to sell him. Now I'm going to put it out there. Anybody that's considering selling Cole Palmer, I wouldn't do it just yet. I mean, the returns haven't been great, but look at this. Look at that. It's fantastic. Now, I'm planning on potentially actually getting rid of Cole Palmer in game week 29 to accommodate maybe an Erling Haaland if he is fit and available. So I am in that position right now where Cole Palmer is definitely expendable at some point, but right now I am content with keeping him in my team, definitely. Just seeing what is going on here. And again, guys, if there is any certain questions that you want to drop in, please do pop them in. I'll be sure to answer them if they are different to what has not been asked already. Munoz or Kirkes? I think you got to go Kirkes in that situation. I do. Just play the home game. Munoz or Hall? Then I actually am weirdly bullish on on Munoz as opposed to Hall, but that's just because of the attacking potential that Munoz possesses. Is Haaland out? Pep was classic Pep, just basically saying like, we'll see. If you have him, probably just keep him and hope for the best, but be asking you why you have Haaland. Would you start Robinson over Van Heck? I'll cover that one. I probably would start Van Heck. Pickford or Flecken and Munoz or Robinson? I would start Pickford over... I probably would start Flecken over Pickford, but you do need to note that the Everton defence might be quite highly owned this week. And I probably will play Robinson over Munoz. So I think they both offer attacking potential, and Robinson has the home game. Slot to Glasner for a -4. Now, I spoke about this. I don't love it. Now, if we take a look at the stuff here, again, what do we think the Liverpool score could be here? We need to kind of think about that in our heads. So, what's the best case scenario? Like, could I see Liverpool winning 2-0? Yeah. Could I see any better than that? Probably not. And I mean, they could win 4-3, but that doesn't necessarily help as much sometimes in the point scoring. So I think Liverpool, let's say, win 3-1 or something along them lines. So you get 6 for the win, you get 3 for the goals, that's 9 total. And then that's it. That's brilliant. But I would say 9 probably is as close to the ceiling for Slot this week. And I think it definitely is a chance of a draw. I think Liverpool have been a bit ropey defensively, and we know City have been as well. So could we see an open game? Maybe. So I think Slot has the potential to score ceiling 9 points. And that's why I think Slot to Arteta, I just don't love that move. I think if you are going to do it, it has to be for a table bonus manager, especially for a -4, and it would be Glasner. But I'm quite clear. If I was selling Slot for a -4, I would keep him. It's still Liverpool, and it's still Man City, who have been really poor. So, yeah, I'm pretty clear on that. I think Slot to anybody for a -4, I don't like. And if you have to do it, it would be Glasner. Slot out for a free transfer, I only really love, and ignore the bottom right because this was old kind of stuff I was saying, spouting on about. It probably would be for Glasner, just chase that upside. Otherwise, I think Slot is perfectly fine to keep this week. Play Mateta or Wood. I think it has to be Big Dog Wood. But if you, I'm trying to find a way to play both. I feel Mykolenko keeps the clean sheet this week. Start over Rodgers, maybe. If you feel he keeps the clean sheet, then yeah, so be it. So be it. I don't mind it at all if you have that gut feeling. I don't want to be the one to kind of tell you not to. Do you know what I mean? I definitely don't want to be that guy. Sorry, guys. I'm just making sure someone is... I'd probably... Cool. So I was just updating someone on some bits and bobs. Slot to Glasner -4. I've covered that. I don't love it at all. Should I take a hit to replace Sells, or should I take a hit to replace Emery? Sells the goalkeeper. I don't really love a hit to get rid of a goalie, so no. And then should I take a hit to sell Emery? The only way I'll take a hit to sell Emery is to go for a table bonus manager. Otherwise, I would leave it because I think Aston Villa beat Chelsea. Need advice. 3 to start. Hall, Mykolenko, Greaves, Konate, Aina. Hall, Mykolenko, Greaves. I wouldn't start Greaves. I would start Hall, Mykolenko, and Aina, and I would bench Konate and Greaves. Pretty happy with that. Whom should I start, bro? Wood or Mateta? Please, I've covered that one. I think, honestly, you are just asking for trouble benching either of those. I think, like, Wood is as talismanic to the team as Mateta. I just think Wood's inevitable. I'd probably start Wood. I probably would start Wood. Gakpo to Cunha, or Bruno to Mbeumo Minter, or both for a -4. Look, I think Gakpo to Cunha just resolves a lot of problems, especially if you're not looking to free hit in game week 29. So I think Gakpo to Cunha would be my preference. Mahmoud saying buy Dango and make Beto on bench, or buy Arteta and sell Slot. Well, I don't mind starting Beto this week at all, but buying Dango is good. Who are you selling though, Mahmoud? Let me know who you're selling. And we got a question there. Trent, Rodgers and Ndai to Kirkes, Cliver and Cunha, not free hitting in game week 29. Thoughts? Yes. If you're in a position right now where you're content moving away from Trent, and it probably is a good enough week than ever to get rid of him with this tricky game away, then yeah, I'm happy with that. I just can't bring myself to sell Trent right now, because we need to remind ourselves that he does have a fantastic game in 28 at home against Southampton, where double-digit hauls are on the cards in those sort of games. But yeah, if you're content with selling Trent, all the players that you've put there are great. Mitchell said, I have missed... Sorry, mate, I missed your question. Yo. Gakpo and Diaz for Vissa and Mbeumo, or Diaz and Sarr for Mbeumo and Enquiries, saving your free hit in game week 29. Okay, so Gakpo and Diaz are not ideal because their minutes are all over the place, and Gakpo obviously is an injury concern. Or Diaz and Sarr, but then you're keeping Gakpo. So my thing to you would be Diaz and Sarr to Mbeumo and Enquiries, I really do like, because then do you still have the money to then do Gakpo to a Cunha or somebody? Because that will be my preference over a Vissa. So I would probably say to you, like, Diaz will start this week because obviously Gakpo doesn't look like he's going to start. But if your team can accommodate it and you're not really weakening your team, Diaz and Sarr to Mbeumo and Enquiries look really good. And then it means you got Gakpo as a placeholder to then sell to someone like a Cunha if you wanted to go there next week with a decent fixture. So that probably would be my preference. Otherwise, if Gakpo sitting in your bench as a injury is a problem, get rid of him. But I prefer maybe getting yourself to like a Cunha or someone, really. I prefer that to Vissa myself. I love Vissa. He's been my MVP this season, but I'm probably a bit more bullish on Cunha now. Just a reminder for anybody that's jumped in, this is my team. I brought in Mbeumo for Eze. I just feel like Mbeumo is a player that I want to cover myself off against, and I rate him. And then Glasner's come in for Arnie Slot because I had a free transfer. I wouldn't have done it if it was for a points hit. And again, it's worth noting, because of my rank right now being 215k, that is a reason why I am happy to chase the upside. If I had 15k rank, I would just go Arteta and I would just sit there and lap up my 8 points that is inevitably going to come in. But, I mean, when is Crystal Palace playing? Okay, so I'll be playing football when they're kicking off and playing. So I just got to hope that when I come back in that change room tomorrow and I turn on my phone, I see Palace 3-0 up with a Munoz hat-trick. And that would be the dream. Is it going to happen? Probably not. Probably not. But we can only dream. We can only dream. Bench one Acuna, Mateta or Palmer. I just hate all of those options to bench. I mean, probably would be Palmer to bench. Probably would, but I just don't like it. I've covered that off. Glasner or Irola, it would be Glasner for me. Just really chase that table bonus upside. Bench Foden or Palmer. Ugh, probably would bench Foden. Nico's saying, are we not feeling Thomas Frank as a manager option? The main reason why I don't like Thomas Frank as a manager option is because there's no table bonus opportunity. So is it a home run fixture? Not really. So I just don't love it. I'd much rather pay similar price and just get Glasner in and chase that upside. Because, yeah, Brentford could win 5-0 tonight. And then that's huge score. You get 6 for the win. You get 5 for the goals, and you get 2 for the clean sheet. That's a monster haul. But I don't know. I think it's under the lights on a Friday night could be more difficult than maybe we're anticipating. Maybe I'm being a bit naive, and maybe I'm not hyping Brentford enough and what they're due, and maybe I'm overperforming in my head what Leicester can do. But I don't know. I feel like it could be a trickier game than what we're anticipating this game for Brentford, and I don't love the idea of going for a Thomas Frank is your thing, even though I've just brought in, of course, Mbeumo, and I'm being so hypocritical with that comment. Hit to sell Slot for Arteta. No, I do not like that at all. I would just keep Slot and keep the transfer. The thing that we need to remember, of course, is like it isn't just a case of doing a transfer for the manager. It's the impact on future weeks. So if your team's really struggling to get a team out for game week 29, which of course is a blank game week, and you're not planning on free hitting, you doing a luxury move on a manager is still problematic because it's taking away a transfer in future weeks to improve your team. So you've got to view it as that. You're not only making a hit on your team, but you're also then having points against a team that you're not even going to own in the future because you don't have the players. Now, what I want to do is actually try and show you a quick update on what my team could look like in the coming weeks. Now, I don't think I've got this set up the best for your screens right now. Let's take a look. Can you see that okay? Is it lagged? So, let me I don't think it's going to pull through my team. And I appreciate that is probably not the best viewing right now. Give me literally a second. This is FPL Team, by the way. Make sure you guys do check it out. So, let's put this up here. Sorry, Pete, I'm going to get rid of your advert, so I apologise, mate. Or I love you, but I got to do that. So this is game week 26 for my team, and I will roll it up a little bit so you can see what week we're in. Let me just bring in the managers and the players that I have done already. This might be useful for people if they're curious about who to go for. So that's how my team's currently looking for game week game week 26. I got 1 million in the bank. Yeah, cool. Okay, so just a bit of context here. I'm planning on not free hitting in game week 29. So my team looks like this for game week 26. Pretty content with it. Going into game week 27, obviously we get the money back from the assistant manager, which is really important. Hence why my bank has just jumped up to 1.8 million. So you add that money in the manager, it's going to come back into your bank. So my team will look like this. Is it fantastic? No, it's not brilliant, but I think it's still an okay team. I've got my Brentford for an okay game against Everton. I still got Cole Palmer. Double Bournemouth against Brighton, not the worst thing in the world. If we come down to the actual fixtures, who am I missing in game week 27? Well, the fixtures aren't incredible. I mean, am I devastated I don't have Palace in that game? Not really. And remember, it is a midweek game. I would love Cunha in that game. Just can't really get there. Got the best player for that one. Don't want Man United. Tough game. Not really fussed about that. Odd game. Tricky game. Weird game again. So I don't think there's huge upside in game week 27, and I would look to roll my transfer in this week. Then coming into game week 28, again, the team pretty much picks itself, to be honest with you. Again, I mentioned this Bournemouth game away against Spurs is better than what it looks like, because Spurs will be playing their first leg of the Europa League before and the second leg afterwards, and they got to prioritise that Europa League. So Bournemouth will be fresh and have a good game against Spurs. I'm pretty confident of that. Team kind of picks itself, and I think I could roll my transfer once more. What am I missing out in game week 28? Well, no Chris Wood in that game actually is a bit problematic. Maybe I need to move earlier than expected, but we'll see how Man City look. No Eze for that game is what it is. I've got Munoz. I've got Trent and Salah for that. I've got Palmer. As I said, they're going to be benching loads and not really fussed about the rest. So the plan would be to roll again unless I really deemed Chris Wood just absolutely essential in that moment. And then what I probably would do is die to Chris Wood, and I'll get him in for the Man City game and just view it as a game that that he's going to do well in. Obviously, it would cause problems with my team benching wise. Let's just say for the sake, I went for that. And then in game week 29, this is how my team would look right now. So Mikalenko would come in here, Vandenberg would come in for Salah, and Semenyo would come in for Isak. So I have a decent team, and I would have 2 free transfers with Chris Wood in. So it would all be about just who else do I want to drop into this team. So I could sell Mo Salah if I wanted to. I know it doesn't sound great, but if I'm not going to captain him in this game week, then maybe I do need to sell him. Lots of different routes. I'm not really going to forward plan it, but basically I can get to a good team in game week 29 without tons and tons of surgery to the team. But as an example, if I felt like also I wanted to get rid of Isak, I don't think I will want to, but I'm trying to think how I could get Erling Haaland in while also benefiting my team, because selling this is not really an ideal solution for this side. So one thing I could do is use my 2 transfers, and I could do Salah out and go for a midfielder like... trying to think of a good midfielder in game week 29. Let's go for Savinho. Let's say he's still playing for Man City. He would come in, and I mean, that looks pretty delicious as it is. But then I probably would then have to make another move to bring in Erling Haaland to kind of justify it. You can see how it gets a bit sticky, but you could do something like this. Find the funds. Anyway, I digress. What I'm trying to say is make sure you have a plan for game week 29, because it is very, very important to do so. Right, so quick reminder, we have got half an hour until the deadline. Let's get through some of these questions because I do not want to miss it. So, Ahmad to Bowen for -4. Yes, I do like it because Ahmad is ruled out, but I would be asking the question of you, do you have Bournemouth double first and foremost, or at least one Bournemouth, because that would be the priority. Hey mate, bench one of Wood, Cunha, Dango or Kluivert. I do not like benching any of those, but it probably would be Chris Wood, which I don't like the look of. McKenna, definitely a viable pick, but we need to remember Tottenham have actually rested this week. They haven't had any Europa League. It could be a better version of Spurs. Rodgers or JP, Rodgers every day of the week. I think João Pedro's minutes are very, very hard to predict this week. I would anticipate him being benched and maybe coming on for the last half an hour. That could be enough, but I don't know if I love it really. Again, guys, if you're watching this right now, we're 10 away. 10 away from 20k subscribers. If we could hit that on this stream, it would be sick. Are we going to do so? Probably not. But if we can, I'm going to be going for another 5 minutes or so. So if you can, guys, it'll be awesome to drop a subscribe and see if we can hit that 20k on this stream. Bench one of Cunha, Mateta or Palmer. Again, I just hate the idea of benching any of those. Controversially, probably will be Palmer. Probably will be Palmer, but I just don't love it. Should I bench Rodgers to Cunha or Robinson to Munoz? Don't really get the question there. Maybe just reword that because I don't really get, should I bench Rodgers to Cunha? Well, I'd play Cunha over Rodgers, definitely, but I'll play Robinson over Munoz. Hope that helps. Bryn saying, hi, which attacker should I bench from Isak, Palmer, Wood, Cunha, and Bremo? Playing Salah, Kluivert, Dango, Ta. Well, Bryn, again, really difficult one this week with your situation. Look, it comes down for me between Chris Wood and Palmer to probably bench. I think I probably would go for Chris Wood bench, but you know, any of those players that you bench is going to be a problem for you in terms of rank because they're all so highly owned. Start Palmer or Wood. Ugh, flip a coin. I probably would just lean towards Cole Palmer though, but I don't love it. Bench one of Kluivert, Dango, Wood, Isak, Vissa, and Mbeumo, Palmer. Can't decide again. I don't love benching any of those. It probably would just be Chris Wood though, but honestly, he could score in any fixture as we know. John St. Vandenberg's injured. Yep, that is true, but hopefully he can be back by game week 29. That's the only real week I need him, but even so, it doesn't really... it's not like he's going to do much against Bournemouth, really, is he? Kanate or Anderson bench. I would prefer to probably bench Kanate. I think City is still okay for a goal. I think they're still okay for a goal. Gakpo to Mateta, and then Ahmad to Kluivert, Mitoma, or anyone else for 6.8 million. Yeah, so Harry, if you don't have a Bournemouth midfielder right now, I would just get it done. Bring in Kluivert, fantastic. And I even think he's great for a double up as well. But of course, if you're doing Gakpo to Mateta, you are causing yourself problems in blank game week 29 with no fixture. So you just need to understand what is your strategy. Are you free hitting in 29 or are you not? Because if you are not free hitting in 29, I prefer Cunha. Bench Luis Diaz or Rodgers. Ugh, I think Rodgers probably is a bit better than Luis Diaz this week. So I probably would lean towards benching Luis Diaz. But look, I understand. I haven't owned Rodgers for a long time. He is a bit of a troll, and I understand he can be a problem. So Diaz probably feels a bit more of an exciting pick than that of Rodgers. I have 2 free transfers right now, looking for Ahmad and Gakpo replacements, but looking forward for the blank game week 29, but not free hitting. Is it okay to use the transfer today? And holding, I have 6. Yeah, so very clear for me. Gakpo to Cunha is the best replacement if you're not free hitting in game week 29 because he plays. And an Ahmad replacement, first and foremost, is Bournemouth. Bournemouth tick all of the boxes because they have got great fixtures, basically long term. Like that there is a great run. I would even say the whole thing's a great run. And they play in game week 29 at home against Brentford. So I think it is perfectly fine to go for Cunha and a Bournemouth midfielder. And I do think we're going to see a bit of a template team forming soon. Bench Elanga or Wood, it will be bench Elanga 100% on that one. Hey matey, who to play? Rodgers versus Chelsea or Dango versus Wolves? Very clear that Dango playing as the number 9. The numbers are fantastic. We covered it off in previous videos. Since he has played as the number 9, his numbers have been better than that of Kluivert and Semenyo. And I've done a bit of a deep dive on that in my transfer plan video / best players to buy. And really, when I started to look at those numbers, since they have had that structure, he's clearly the best pick. So Dango for me, 100%. Bench and headache, bench Gordon or Raul. I probably would bench Gordon to start Raul, just because Raul's on penalties. Mamu saying sell Rodgers to Dango and make better on bench. Yeah, I don't mind that because long term it resolves issues in your team. Mbeumo captain too risky? No. But from a psychological perspective, the only thing I want to say is, if you go here, which is tonight, remember, the deadline's in 28 minutes time, you then got to wait till this for everybody else to have their captain. And I've done it in the past, and it is the longest weekend of your life. So if Leicester somehow beat Brentford and you get a blank, trust me, you ain't watching any more football for the weekend because you know you got pain coming because every single Mo Salah point that happens is going to hurt you. So I love the Mbeumo pick. You can go there, but there's something psychological about your player going literally tonight, knowing that you could have pain if he doesn't deliver at the back end of the weekend. I see here we got Andrew saying good luck on the road to 20k. Yeah, we're close. I don't think we're hit at this stream, but we're close. So if you're watching this, you're enjoying the stream, guys. If we can hit 20k, always massively appreciated. But first and foremost, I've got to provide value. Otherwise, there's no point subscribing. Right, we are going to wrap this up in literally 2 minutes, guys. So please Drop your questions in. We are going to do a quick speed fire Q&A, try and keep up. So just a quick reminder, this is my team. I am locked in, Eze to Mbeumo, and I've done slot to Glasner because I had free transfers. And with my overall rank being 215k, I wanted to chase the upside, hence why I got Glasner. I'm very clear. If I had slot, I would not be selling them as part of a points hit. If you really had to, it has to be a table bonus manager to really justify it. And in terms of the assistant manager, sorry, if I was 15k, I would be going for Arteta and taking those 8 points and running home. Glasner to slot for a -4? No, definitely not. But if you mean slot to Glasner for a -4, that's the only -4 I would consider. Who did you transfer? I've covered that off now. If I had one free transfer, who did you go from slot to Glasner? Yes, I do like it, but again, you have to ask yourself, does it hurt your team in future weeks in preparation for blank game week 29? That's the most important thing. Beto, good pick. Beto, fantastic pick. Everton, good. Man United, bad. Matt, would you start Van Dijk or Mykolenko? I mean, I still think Man City are okay for a goal, so I probably would lean towards Mykolenko controversially there. Okay, I think we might have to wrap it up here, guys, so I do need to jump on a quick TikTok live. So I think we're going to call it, and I mean, you guys are legends, because I know what's going to happen now. People are going to unsubscribe. It is what it is, but we have just hit 20k. So I have to thank you guys massively. We have hit 20k. It probably will go down now because obviously people love to troll. But honestly, guys, thanks so much. We hit 20k on this stream, which is awesome. So it will be awesome. I took a quick screenshot because it's one of those where you're like, hey, mum, I hit 20k. But it's one of those things. So done that. I had to obviously see what the other chat is saying. Emery to Glasner. Yes, I don't mind that upside. And Gordon saying, congrats. Thank you, my man. Thank you. Paul Smith, hi, mate. Paul, hope you're doing well, mate. Cheers for your help. I'm now getting cold feet about rolling the tracks. So I might do Sarr to, yes, Sarr to a Bournemouth midfielder. I do like that move. Yes, Gordon, appreciate it, my man. Hall, Robinson, Trent. Kirkes start 3. I would start Gabriel 100%. I would start Robinson, and I probably would start Kirkes over Trent controversially. Okay, we're going to wrap it up there, guys. So I do have to jump on a TikTok live. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you for getting the channel to 20k. Massively appreciated. Now, a reminder, deadlines. We've got a deadline Tuesday, 6 p.m. So I'm just going to give you a quick preview of what we're doing. Sunday, there'll be a transfer plans video at 6 p.m. Monday will be buy, sell, avoid video Monday morning. Tuesday, 6 a.m. will be a game week 27 team selection video going through everything. A whole deep dive into everything. So make sure you are checking out the channel because there will be lots of content. Take care, guys. I got to wrap it up. Thanks so much. Have a great game week, a great weekend, and we'll talk on Sunday.